Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Vows Zen Monastery on this special Sunday morning. My name is Onshin. It's really wonderful to see so many people present to appreciate and honor our friend Maureen Myosho's stepping into Zen priesthood today. committing herself to the way of kindness and clarity. It's I feel very touched that so many people are here to add their presence and therefore add power to this beautiful passing through this gateway of hers. And we all make this moment special by our caring attention. So thank you for your presence, very much so. As we do with every day of practice here at the monastery, we have a chanting service and a period of meditation. So we'll do those things before the ceremony of ordination itself will begin. And chanting service is a way to feel embodied and offer our voice to the group's voice, to share and celebrate the teachings of wisdom and compassion and feel how that resonates in our body and in the body of the whole group. So if you're able, let's please rise now. And we can stand behind our sitting mats if you have one of those. If you don't, just stay where you are, it's fine. We begin.
It's easier to stand on the sabuton. If there isn't room, you can feel free to stand on the mat.
We begin and end each chanting service with 3 full bows, full prostrations. And we do that in this tradition by putting our bodies on the earth and touching the earth, having our knees, elbows, and forehead on the earth as a way of appreciating all the support that we receive and putting down our self-centered orientation and raising up a greater appreciation for the universe and all of its gifts. So if you don't have space or aren't comfortable doing a full prostration, you can just simply do a standing bow from your waist or just observe. Whatever works for you, it's all good. Chant books will be passed out for the chants that we'll all do. We don't quite have enough copies for every single human here to have a chant book. So if you have a sense of the chants that we do at Sunday service usually, please don't receive a chant book. And if you're new, consider sharing with your neighbor. I will say we'll chant the Mangala Sutta, the chant for celebrating the highest blessings, and those are on pieces of paper in the innermost rows. So if you're in the innermost rows closest to me, that chant can be found under your mat. So please enjoy, and we'll move right along. Thank you so much. Service begins on page 8. Heart of Great Perfect Wisdom
Bodhisattva, when deeply practicing prajna paramita, clearly saw that all five aggregates are empty and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness. Emptiness is self-form. Sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. There is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death, no suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. With nothing to attain, a bodhisattva relies on prajna paramita. The mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future rely on prajna paramita and thereby attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore, know the prajna paramita as the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra which removes all suffering and is true, not false. Therefore we proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, the mantra that says gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhi.
Please turn to page 89. Mangala Sutta. Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta's Grove in Anatap Indika's Park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated all Jeta's Grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings.
living in places of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings, accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings, providing for mother and father support, and cherishing family, ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings, giving with Dhamma in the heart, offering help to relatives and kin, acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings, steadfast in restraint, and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, heedfulness in all that arises. These are the highest blessings, respectfulness and humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings, patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing words of the Dhamma. These are the highest blessings, the holy life lived with ardent effort, seeing for oneself the noble truths, the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings, although involved in worldly ways, unshaken the mind remains, beyond all sorrow, spotless. These are the highest blessings, they who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. In reciting Heart of Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra and Mangala Sutta, we dedicate their merits to Mahaprajna Paramita and to the great teacher Shakyamuni Buddha, to the ancestors in our lineage who have transmitted the light of the Dharma to this place and time, including the first woman ancestor, great teacher Mahapajapati, the first ancestor in India, great teacher Mahakashyapa, the first ancestor in China, great teacher Bodhidharma, the first ancestor in Japan, great teacher Eihei Dogen, the great women ancestors Dzongchen and Yonen, the first ancestor in America, great teacher Kon Taizan, to all enlightened women, to all those who have taught and manifested the truth. Page 28. May their vows be fully realized, and may we accomplish the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honor Mahasavas, wisdom beyond wisdom. Mahaprajna Paramita. Chant of boundless compassion, absorbing world sounds awakens. A Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens. A Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens. A Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. Receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absolute light, luminous throughout the whole universe. Unfathomable excellence permeating everywhere. Whenever these devoted invocations are sent forth, they are perceived and subtly answered. We humbly request the guidance of the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. In chanting the chant of boundless compassion, we offer the merits to all living teachers of the Dharma, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Shodo Harada Roshi, Ajahn Sumedho, and Pema Chodron. We also pray that the years of life be lengthened for Chozen Roshi and Hogen Roshi. May their vows be fully realized. We also dedicate these merits to those who are ill or in distress. You can now bring to heart, bring to mind anyone you know who is ill or suffering in any way, silently. May they be freed from suffering and serene through all their ills. We also dedicate these merits to those in the transition of death. You can bring to heart anyone you know who has died recently. May we and they be serene through these transitions. May we aspire to turn the Dharma wheel unceasingly to free the world from every tragedy of violence, epidemic, and starvation as we accomplish the awakened way together. Please collect chant books and time. All honored ones, Bodhisattva. Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom. Maha. Please rise for 3 bows. One standing bow towards the figure on the altar, the Buddha, as a symbol of our own awake nature and our potential to grow into wisdom and compassion. And one bow towards the camera in the back of the room to appreciate community here and everywhere. So at the next sound of the bell, we'll all have a seat for 10 or 12 minutes or so and do a little meditation with some guidance as a way to settle in and breathe deeply and feel how we're feeling and just arrive. Yes.
And just because we're tight, if everyone from Renyu down could move one seat down, so take this seat, and then move down. This whole row can move down. Yes, please move down. And then everyone else can be seated. And if Charlie and Eric could open the windows all the way, that would be helpful. And let's stay here. Thank you.
So you're invited to join this brief meditation, simply to help us arrive and be fully arrived and present for our friend. So perhaps noticing the experience of being here and present, feeling the touch contact between your body and your seat. You've arrived here. Just noticing how your seat supports your body and is the experience of right here. And if you like, taking a moment to shine the light of awareness, scanning through your body and seeing if there's any parts that might have some extra holding, and inviting those places to soften. Relaxing, softening. Noticing your body breathing, in breath and out breath, the gentle rise and fall of the body. Softening on the out breath. And having arrived here at your seat, opening your awareness to the peace in the room, and the sounds of the rain. Resting right here with openness to the peace in the room and all the sounds.
Now we'll have a short break for the final setup for the ceremony, so feel free to stretch in place or take a little walk a few steps away from this room, or use the bathroom if you need to. The bell in the hallway that called us here originally at 10 will start in about 5 minutes or so don't go far. But use the bathroom, take a stretch. Thank you.
I imagine you'll probably start off like I may like depending on make sure you get a good shot at all times. Yeah. So that way like it's moving or doing something weird. Like whatever makes official. I think that's
Morning, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that little taste of meditation. Welcome to reality. Reality is wherever you are sitting, standing, or walking. Can't be realer than that. And the reality has a couple of qualities. One quality is awareness. So everybody who can hear my voice or see the hand is anchored in reality with awareness. And awareness changes. Reality changes, things change. So the Dharma, the teachings here, are anchored in those realities of presence, of awareness, of the flowing change of impermanence. In addition, we have the great vow of Great Vows in Monastery here. The great vow is to help each person realize for themselves the sacredness of their own lives, the blessing that it is to you, to the world, to your family, wherever you are, and whatever we have done, you're the only person who occupies your space in the entire universe. So it's so important. So helping people to realize that directly and to have clarity of mind so they can function effectively and vibrantly in their own lives is part of what we do here. And some of the methods that we do, meditation, chanting, presence, working, living in community, all those are ancillary. So what's happening this morning, the ordination of Myosho Maureen Milton, I say the M to the third, is a meeting of vows. It's not a introduction into the old person's network. It's a meeting of vows. So Great Vow has the intention to help each person recognize their own true nature, which is magnificent. And when that vow and the way that we try to help people understand that vow comes together with someone's personal vow that they want to also, that their vow, the vow for their life, is lined up with the Great Vow, then we have a ceremony like this. So this is a ceremony of affirming Myosho, Maureen. It's a ceremony of learning about and kind of hearing about the sacredness of the vows of your own life. Each of us has vows. Each of us has intentions and promises in our heart. So in this particular case, we're doing the ceremony that you'll hear the vows, you'll hear some of the points of clarity of mind, and it is an honor to have so many people come to witness such a moving and strong and wise person. So I hope the ceremony will touch you. I hope that the ceremony will remind you of the sacredness of your own heart's aspiration. There'll be a part in the ceremony, I'll tell you about it later. So we'll get started. Thank you all again. Now, as with anything, we bring life to wherever we are. We can go into some place and be completely dead, uninterested, bored, or we can go someplace and give life to it, wherever we are, whatever we do. We can give life to life. So part of the way we give life to this ceremony is not just saying, we could stand up here and say, I take a couple of vows, or we can have a little bit of more drama, a little more interest. So we've chosen to try to make it a little more interesting. So this is all for your entertainment. So please enjoy the bells and the whistles and the sounds and the ceremony. before we begin. Two more little bits I forgot. One is all of the images around here, like the Buddha on the altar, are about states of mind. It's an iconic representation of a state of mind. The Buddha is an iconic representation of calmness, clarity, peace. So when we're doing the vows are the yoga posture of humility, the yoga posture of affirming with our body what we are saying with our mouths. So there'll be a lot of bows in this ceremony, and each bow is a bow of a manifestation of respect, appreciation. So please, when you see the images here and everywhere else around, states of mind, states of our potential mind. So the state of mind of great compassion, the state of mind of great functioning, the state of mind of great heart and love. So.
I'm going to recite an invocation. An invocation is an invitation to all the Buddhas, all the wise ones, all the saints, and then anyone who couldn't be here for this ceremony, whether living or dead. So you can all ponder, especially Myosho's family, who you would like to invite to this ceremony. Namuji po butsu, namuji po ho, namuji po so, namu hanshi shakamuni butsu, namu daizu dai kyuku, namu kanze onbosa, namu daijin fugen bosa, namu koso joyo daishi, namu taiso josai daishi, namu riki daiso shi bosatsu, namuji po butsu, namuji po ho, namuji po so. This is the three treasures. And then the Buddha, and also a Kanzeon, the embodiment of compassion, and Fugen, who is the guardian in the kitchen. And Myosho has been our Tenzo now for over a year. Namo Hanshi Shakumuni Butsu, Namo Daizu Dai Kyuku, Namo Kanze Onbosa, Namo Daijin Fugen Bosa, Namo Koso Joyo Daishi, Namo Taiso Josai Daishi, Namo Riki Daiso Shibo Satsu, Namo Ji Po Butsu, Namo Ji Po Ho, Namo Ji Po So, Namo Hanshi Shakumuni Butsu, Namo Daizu Dai Kyuku, Namo Kanze Onbosa, Namo Daijin Fugen Bosa, Namu Koso Jo Yo Daishi, Namu Taiso Jo Sai Daishi, Namu Riki Daiso Shi Bo Satsu.
This next part is call and response, so please repeat after me, and the words are printed in your program. In the midst of the three treasures with all sentient beings, let us recite the names of Buddha. Being one with the past seven Buddhas.
Being one with the past seven Buddhas.
Being one with the original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha.
Being one with the original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha.
Being one with great wisdom, Manjushri Bodhisattva.
Being one with great wisdom, Manjushri Bodhisattva.
Being one with great activity, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva.
Being one with great activity, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva.
Being one with great compassion, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva.
Being one with great compassion, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva.
Being one with great vow, Kashiti-garbha Bodhisattva.
Being one with great vow, Kashiti-garbha Bodhisattva.
Being one with great kindness, Maitreya Buddha.
Being one with great kindness, Maitreya Buddha.
Being one with the successive ancestors.
Being one with the successive ancestors. Please do 3 full bows to your parents. Think of your parents' compassion to you and bow in gratitude to them. Think of your family's kindness. Think with compassion about the order they brought into your world and the effort it took to protect and sustain you. Now, as you step away from them entering into your chosen path, sincerely wish them well and say goodbye. You will return their kindness by filling your heart and mind with respect as you enter the priesthood.
This monastery is dedicated to following Shakyamuni Buddha's vow to liberate all beings in all realms, as an indication of your willingness to undertake that vow. Please do 3 vows to the Buddha mind, to that essence of mind, as represented by the figure on the altar. Why don't you go around behind us? The wisdom of this teaching did not come from us, does not come from us. And as teachers, we're merely conduits, allowing wisdom to flow. To honor the source of the 3 treasures which have been passed down for 2,500 years. You will now do 3 vows to us, the lineage, the representatives of the lineage, of all that stream of 82 or 84 generations of teachers which have come here. Now, this monastery, the official founders, the honorary founders, were Myosho Roshi, our direct teacher, and Shoto Harada Roshi, our also direct teacher. But again, that long lineage of teachers is represented by the figures in the founders' room. So now we invite you to go and do 3 vows in the founders' room. Kaisando. Everyone after the ceremony is welcome to go in there and take a look. They're just representatives of all of the many teachers that have been part of this community. To be a priest in the Zen school, you must live by the precepts. To do so, you and all of us must acknowledge any wrongdoing, unskillful actions. There is a confession verse that we chant here and has been handed down generation after generation from the time of the Buddha. With all sincerity, recite this verse, vowing to acknowledge and purify our own unskillful actions and our willingness to make amends. And one of the ways that we can make amends is by living by the precepts, which rule. So we're all going to join you and us in the Gatha of Atonement, the Gatha of that oneness. And that means that when we are at one with this moment, when we are totally here in the only place there is reality, everything that we have done, every single action that we have had is culminated right here. So we start off with the Gatha of Atonement. It's in your books.
confession and vow, you have now purified body and mind of the intent to do harm, whether intentional or unintentional. You must now embody the three treasures of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. When these become the essence of your life, you will have repaid countless debts. Let us take refuge in the three treasures together. This is call and response. Being one with Buddha, being one with Buddha, may all beings embody the great way. May all beings embody the great way. Resolving to awaken to truth. Resolving to awaken to truth. Being one with Dharma. Being one with Dharma. May all beings penetrate the sutras. May all beings penetrate the sutras. Gaining wisdom deep as the ocean. Gaining wisdom deep as the ocean. Being one with Sangha. Being one with Sangha. May all beings support harmony everywhere. May all beings support harmony everywhere. Becoming free from every hindrance. Becoming free from every hindrance. In olden times, when the Buddha was alive and people would come to him and ask to join the monastic order, all they had to do was take refuge in the Buddha, in the Buddha himself as a teacher, and in the Dharma, his teachings, and in the Sangha, the community of people who were practicing with the Buddha. So we have just done that. We have just taken refuge in the three treasures. But that turned out to be not enough because human beings are who they are and got up to all kinds of mischief. So then the three pure precepts were added to the original three treasures. So we'll do the three pure precepts now with Myosho.
Is it a call and response for this treasure?
Just Myosho. It'll be just Myosho, but you're welcome to say it in your mind too. Do you promise to avoid doing evil?
I do.
Do you promise to do good?
I do.
Do you promise to do good for others?
I do.
Do you promise to avoid doing harm and evil?
I do.
Do you promise to do good?
I do.
Do you promise to do good for others?
I do.
In Buddhism, we do things 3 times because now modern research shows that out of 3 times, you're only paying attention once. Do you vow not to do harm or evil?
I do.
Do you vow to do good?
I do.
Do you vow to do good for others?
I do.
3 vows. And now, because that wasn't enough, to help people know how to live ethically, we take the 10 precepts. So these are very, very specific, and these are also pretty universal with all major world religions. And as you'll see, and you can all take these vows silently, if people kept these 10 precepts, even the first 5 precepts, the world would be an entirely different place. It would be an entirely different place to live. So we'll do the 10 grave precepts. I vow not to kill,
I vow not to kill,
but to cherish all life.
but to cherish all life.
One vow. I vow not to take that which is not given to me,
I vow not to take that which is not given to me,
but to cherish the belongings of others.
but to cherish the belongings of others.
I vow not to misuse sexual energy,
I vow not to misuse sexual energy,
but to be respectful in both mind and action.
but to be respectful in both mind and action.
I vow not to lie,
I vow not to lie,
but to speak and embody the truth.
but to speak and embody the truth.
I vow not to misuse drugs or alcohol,
I vow not to misuse drugs or alcohol,
but to keep the mind clear.
but to keep the mind clear.
Maizumi Roshi used to say that drugs or alcohol can mislead us and intoxicate us, but the worst intoxication is our own mind. I vow not to gossip about others' faults and errors,
I vow not to gossip about others' faults and errors,
but to be understanding and sympathetic.
but to be understanding and sympathetic.
So this is a very interesting precept because we have to be aware of when our speech, we have to talk about other people often, but when does our speech shade over into gossip? It's a feeling tone. I vow not to praise myself by criticizing others,
I vow not to praise myself by criticizing others,
but to work to overcome my own limitations.
but to work to overcome my own limitations.
I vow not to withhold spiritual or material aid,
I vow not to withhold spiritual or material aid,
but to give freely when needed.
but to give freely when needed.
I vow not to unleash anger,
I vow not to unleash anger,
but to seek and dissolve its source.
but to seek and dissolve its source.
I vow not to speak ill of the 3 treasures,
I vow not to speak ill of the 3 treasures,
but to cherish and uphold them.
but to cherish and uphold them.
Will you maintain these precepts well?
I will.
Will you maintain these precepts well?
I will.
Will you really maintain these precepts well?
I really, really will.
This is a time when we have to take an official photograph so that Myosho's ordination can be registered with Soto headquarters in Japan, and they requires 2 specific photos, so just be a little bit patient. So you can have your head up. So just look at me. This is an admonition. You, great being, realizing the drifting, unsatisfactory nature of worldly things, leave them behind and enter nirvana. To do so is rare and cannot be accomplished by the ordinary mind. You, great being, realizing the drifting, unsatisfactory nature of worldly things, leave them behind and enter the peace of nirvana. To do so cannot be accomplished by the ordinary mind. I'm going to lean forward for the next one so I'm closer to her. You, great being, realizing the drifting and unsatisfactory nature of ordinary reality, now leave it behind and enter the equanimity and peace of nirvana. To do this is rare and cannot be accomplished by the ordinary discursive mind. So all over the world, water is used for purification. Water is actually an astounding being. It takes 3 forms. The mist that was outside this morning, the raindrops which fell after that, and then the frozen form. And it's constantly moving between those 3 forms freely so that it can quench the thirst of animals, plants, and living beings. We can wash ourselves clean in it. We can keep our habitation clean, our clothes clean. And it renews itself by going back into the earth. We can even surf in it and swim in it.
3 vows. All Buddhas, when finding the truth for the first time, earnestly investigated. With the fresh heart of a beginner, they become determined to embody truth. Their resolve can no longer be hidden, be broken. And the merit of a beginner's mind is vast, completely fathomless. Even if the Buddhas could explain it fully, such explanations would be inadequate. You are now taking the Buddha for your master, and the precepts and bodhisattvas for your companion.
This portion of hair is called the shura. Only a Buddha can take it off. In the place of the Buddha, I am now going to shave the shura. Will you allow me to do this?
Yes.
Only a Buddha can shave this last portion of hair. In the place of the Buddha, I am going to shave it off. Will you allow me to do that?
Yes.
For the 3rd time, only a Buddha can shave the last remaining bit of hair from your head, called the shura. In the place of the Buddha, I am going to do this. Will you allow me to do it?
Yes.
So this is the second photo that we need. We're just going to get several pictures here.
You're changing your form to fulfill your vows, cutting off worldly attachments, living apart from history and possessions, to discover and embody the truth. In doing so, you will help countless others. Yeah. Now, as a symbol of all these intentions and vows, there are more coming. But we have some tokens of
This is called a zagu, and this is a bowing cloth, and this dates back to the time of the Buddha, when people were living in an area which could be very dusty and dirty. And so when the Buddha and the monks and nuns sat down to meditate, they would sit on a meditation cloth or a bowing cloth.
Can people hear? Is this loud enough? Good.
With the zagu.
This is part of the fun of this.
When people ordain here, they make the white kimono and the white undershirt, and then this robe that is being put on now is made by women in Japan, usually little old ladies who have done just this kind of sewing all their lives. I always smile when I say little old ladies because I'm one. So you'll notice how long the sleeves are. This comes from China, and there's a whole practice with sleeves because the sleeves aren't supposed to touch the ground.
Do one bow right now.
One vow. When people first take the precepts which we just given to everyone here, and Myosho especially, they can get a Dharma name, and her name, Myosho, is her Dharma name. And they also sew a small representation of the Buddha's robe called a Raksu. So this has been her Raksu for a couple of years. And now you put it back on and bow, and then you take it off. So this is a small version of the Buddha's robe, and it can be worn when you're working or when situations are a little less formal. It was probably designed in China as a way of being able to wear your large robe, which she'll put on next, her okesa, while you were working or walking around the monastery, and you didn't want to wear your ceremonial robe. But next, she'll get her okesa, which is a ceremonial robe, in which Myosho has spent some weeks sewing.
And now, as she puts that robe on, we all chant the robe of liberation, which is in the program, I think. We'll do that 3 times.
Roll How vast the robe of liberation. There are two implications. One is that when we enter and sincerely do our spiritual practice, we can become liberated from unnecessary suffering. We can learn how to end our own suffering. This is an amazing gift. But it's also a gift to the world, because when we are liberated from suffering, there is less suffering in the world. And our equanimity, compassion, wisdom, whatever we develop in our spiritual practice, then can benefit the world. The robe of liberation is indeed vast. It includes everything in creation. Because if we are really present with the birds, the ferns, the forest, the sky, the streams, other people, the wood on the floor, any of these things are Dharma gates and can lead us to liberation. So liberation is calling to us all the time. And it's only our mind which is constantly thinking of the past and thinking of the future and thinking of difficulties after difficulties stands in the way of the heart opening to all of the Dharma gates that are constantly waiting for us to enter them. The series of robes that she has on recapitulates the history of Buddhism. So Buddhism began in India, and the robe that she's just put on, the large okesa, is a patchwork robe. And the story of how this robe was developed is a kind of interesting one. So there was a king in India who became a Buddhist, and in India at the time, the only person who would bow to, the only person the king would bow to was their spiritual teacher. So the king was riding an elephant, and he saw in a distance somebody he thought to be the Buddha and the Buddha's companion. And so he got down off of his elephant and prepared to bow, and he realized it was not the Buddha. So later he asked his cousin, who was his personal secretary and actually had a phonographic memory and memorized all the Buddha's teachings over 45 years of teaching. He asked Ananda, I think we need a robe which is distinctive so that the king and others can recognize that this is the Buddha and the Buddhist Sangha. They happened to be walking by a rice field at the time, and the Buddha said to Ananda, how about the pattern of the rice field? And we shouldn't buy new cloth for this. We should use old cloth, old discarded cloth. So that included cloth that had been used to wrap corpses. It included cloth that had been trampled on by cows. It included cloth that had been chewed by rats, and so on. Any form of discarded cloth could be salvaged and washed, and it was also disinfected. And they used turmeric at the time. So that's why the robes of Buddhist monks in Asia are orange, because of the use of that herb to disinfect them. So the outermost robe that she has on, the okesa, is made of patchwork cloth. In this case, we did buy the cloth, and then we cut it in little pieces to remember that the original Buddha's robes were made of pieces of discarded cloth. And then underneath, the robe that comes from India is a Chinese robe, Chinese-style robe, because Buddhism went from India to China and Korea and then eventually to Japan. So the robe with the long sleeves and the long ties on the side is a Chinese style and used by Buddhist monks in China. And then underneath that is a white kimono, which you saw her wearing before, and that's from Japan. She made it herself, but that style of garment is from Japan. And then underneath that, we have American underwear. So We're recapitulating the journey of Buddhism to the West in the clothing that we wear every day. We eat in a ceremonial way. Those of you who have done retreats here know about orioki. Orioki means just enough, which means that you serve yourself just enough food to nourish body, heart, and mind for spiritual practice. And for that ceremony, it's a meditative way of bringing mindfulness to eating. We use a special set of bowls. And this is the largest bowl, which is called the Buddha bowl. Because in the Buddha's time, the Buddha and his ordained begged for food. The Buddha calculated very, very carefully how to reduce the amount of time that human beings spend taking care of themselves. So he did away with breakfast, and people adjusted and did fine. And then he did away with supper, and people adjusted and did fine. So traditionally, in India, ordained people only ate one meal a day. And that was all donated food. So the Buddha and his monks and nuns didn't actually cultivate the earth, didn't grow their own food, but took food that people wanted to offer that was extra food. So in Japan, for example, people who grow crops or who run produce stores, are constantly bringing produce that's been left over from the day of selling, or left over from their gardens to the monasteries. And we also get donated food here. So we are very grateful at how well nourished we are in this monastery and in most of our country. But we also grow and donate food to the food bank here in Klatskanai, because there are children in particular who go hungry on the weekend. And so at school there's a food cupboard where children can go and get food to take home for the weekend. It's very sad that in the richest country in the world, people are hungry. So we remember all of that and are grateful for the food that we get through our bowl. This is your new Buddha bowl.
Now this next piece is the culmination of the ceremony, in a way the essence of the ceremony. And that has to do with vows. The vows, the intentions of the heart, the intentions of the life. And there are three sets of vows that we do here. We do take life vows, which are applicable for the rest of your life. We have secret vows, vows of the heart. And then we also have just some specific vows that are relevant to this place and this time. So Chosen will offer you the, you do yours.
I'll do the first.
Yeah, she's doing the vows. Hmm? Yeah.
I vow to live the life the Buddha taught us to live.
I vow to live the life the Buddha taught us to live.
Living ethically and becoming enlightened no matter how long it takes.
Living ethically and becoming enlightened no matter how long it takes.
I vow to study the Dharma.
I vow to study the Dharma.
To understand the true nature of everything and everyone I encounter.
To understand the true nature of everyone and everything that I encounter.
Good. I vow to help the Sangha.
I vow to help the Sangha.
Practicing generosity with all my resources.
Practicing generosity with all of my resources.
And that doesn't just mean material resources, it means resources of the heart and mind. I vow to undertake a life of simplicity.
I vow to undertake a life of simplicity.
Living with few personal possessions.
Living with few personal possessions.
I vow to undertake a life of service,
I vow to undertake a life of service,
working to nurture and mature people's understanding.
working to nurture and mature people's understanding.
I vow to undertake a life of stability,
I vow to undertake a life of stability,
honoring my commitments by being patient, tolerant, and steadfast
honoring my commitments by being patient, tolerant, and steadfast
in practice and relationships.
in practice and relationships.
I vow to be available to offer spiritual support
I vow to be available to offer spiritual support
to those in need.
to those in need.
Now, we'd like a moment of silence here for each of us in the room, in Myosho, to ask yourself to become aware of the deep intentions of your heart. The deep intentions of our heart are before words. And any words we give to them, in a way, minimizes them. So we'll take a moment for each person for Myosho to reflect upon the deep intentions of her heart and our hearts. For 5 years, I vow to follow my teacher's direct guidance.
For 5 years, I vow to follow my teacher's direct guidance.
For 5 years, I vow to live at and support great vows in monasteries.
For 5 years, I vow to live at and support great vows and monasteries.
For 5 years, I vow to serve the Zen community of Oregon and our local community.
For 5 years, I vow to serve the Zen community of Oregon and our local community.
I think that's worth some vows.
Because all existence is marked by dukkha, by friction, by difficulty, by suffering. We begin our practice for the sake of our own suffering. Because all existence shares the same Buddha heart, we broaden our practice to help others. Because the Dharma is unfathomably deep, we undertake endless practice, supporting all beings to find liberation. In order to embody the precepts in this threefold manner, we affirm the 4 great Bodhisattva vows. Let's all recite them together.
Bodhisattva vows, beings are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless,
universe rejoices. The earth moves and flowers bloom. The Bodhisattvas ask the Buddha, what does this mean? Shakyamuni Buddha replies that a new disciple has taken the pure great precepts of the Bodhisattvas and the fourfold vow to liberate all beings. They have been awakened to the liberating truth of interconnectedness, impermanence, and kindness. The new priest will become a Buddha through this merit. The universal Bodhisattvas, on hearing this explanation, bow, saying, if this is so, they have the same mind and heart as we do.
So the next piece is Myoyu will lead Myosho around the whole room, and she'll lead you in a walking bow. So they will be bowing continuously. And if you like, as they pass in front of you, put your hands palm to palm. Palm to palm is kind of a universal symbol of appreciation, gratitude. And put your hands palm to palm in support of all of these hard-won intentions. To be patient when it's time to be patient is a great skill. After receiving these precepts and making these vows, you obtain their unbreakable merit. You are resolved to embody the Buddha Dharma. It is the most profound precept. To attain the mind of the Buddha and the pure heart of the Dharma, and to keep and offer this to the entire world. Is the essence of our life. Is this not so? To whom can we offer merit? Who is it that is aware of the heart's aspiration. Where can it be offered to? The offering the donors, those of us who receive good things, is completely empty and completely present, spacious. There is nothing to be desired. Everything comes towards us to be responded to. Even so, let's together with all beings offer this highest merit to the deepest truth. I pray you will never lose faith in your vows and will always maintain them. Together we all chant the last piece.
Universal dedication. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom. We can all stand for standing bows. And at the sound of the bell, one final bow all together to the Buddha. And one to the community.
you can relax. There are some official pictures we need to take.
So the next thing is we all get to greet Myosho in the dining hall at the beginning and during and after lunch. So while these photos are being taken, so let's have all priests remain here for a photo, all family members remain for a photo. Does that sound? Yep. And everyone else can linger a little bit, but it's good to move towards the cafeteria for buffet lunch. So please bring your programs and anything that you brought into the room with you. And we'll just have to slowly put all of our things away. So if you were sitting on a chair, just leave it behind. If you're sitting on a cushion, put it away. And monastery residents, please help put everything away and stick around for setup. See you in the cafeteria.